Hey there, UFC bettor. It's Captain Castiron, the world's leading UFC fight prediction expert. Back once again to help you make money betting on the UFC. Now let's review my top 5 picks for UFC Fight Night Felder versus Dos Anjos. Also known as UFC Fight Night 182, this event was held on Saturday, November 14th, 2020 at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. UFC Fight Night 182 featured a total of 9 fights with the main event of Rafael dos Anjos versus Paul Felder. I risked 98 units on this event and lost 22.17. My first top 5 pick featured the main event lightweight scrap between Rafael dos Anjos and Paul Felder. The line on the favorite Rafael dos Anjos was minus 200, with the comeback on the underdog Paul Felder at plus 158. Rafael dos Anjos was my selection to win this contest, and I put 18 units at risk to win an additional 9. The former UFC lightweight champion is moving back down to 155 pounds after 8 fights at 170 pounds, where he went 4-4. A veteran of 29 UFC fights, the man known as RDA is 5 foot 8 inches tall and has a 70-inch reach. A great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter who developed top-notch striking and wrestling skills while in the UFC, RDA is a very exciting fighter to watch. He has 5 wins by knockout, 10 by submission, and 14 by decision, while his losses are 3 by knockout and 10 by decision. Paul Felder is a 36-year-old veteran of 14 fights in the UFC who fights out of the orthodox stance. At 5 foot 11 inches tall with a 70-inch reach, the Irish Dragon is 17-5 overall as a professional and 9-5 in the UFC. His wins are 10 by knockout, 1 by submission, and 6 by decision, while his losses are 1 by knockout and 4 by decision. As one of the best UFC commentators, Felder was semi-retired and preparing for a triathlon when he got the call for this fight. Despite not having trained for 4 months, Felder stepped up and accepted the fight on 5 days short notice and may well have prevented the cancellation of the entire event. I predicted that the favorite RDA would be the victor in this contest. He is the superior wrestler, grappler, and is at least as good if not better technically than Felder on the feet. The pace Dos Anjos sets is extremely difficult to handle with a full camp, so Felder's 5 days notice put him at a severe disadvantage. The fight played out as expected, with RDA winning every round on 2 judges' scorecards, while the third judge inexplicably scored it 48-47 Felder. I profited 9 units with the victory by Dos Anjos. Pick number 2 of my top 5 picks was in the strawweight division, featuring a fight between Kay Hansen and Corey McKenna. Kay Hansen was the favorite at minus 215, while Corey McKenna checked in at plus 168 as the underdog. The favorite Kay Hansen was my pick to win, and I put up 18 units to win 8.37. Kay Hansen is a 21-year-old Orthodox fighter with 1 fight in the UFC. She is 5 foot 2 inches tall, sports a 63-inch reach, and represents 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu Buena Park. She has a record of 7-3, and her wins are 2-4-1 by knockout, submission, and decision respectively. Corey McKenna fights out of Sacramento, California, USA, by way of Cumbrian, Wales. At 5 foot 3 inches tall with the 58-inch reach, Poppins has a record of 5-1. Her wins being 2 by knockout, 1 by submission, and 2 by decision. She looked good in her Dana White Contender Series fight versus Vanessa Demopoulos as she controlled the fight on the feet and on the ground, outstriking her opponent by a margin of 87-38 in total strikes, en route to a unanimous decision. I thought that Kay Hansen was the better athlete, the stronger woman, and would be able to take this fight to the ground and operate from top position. She would use her UFC experience and grappling advantage to tire McKenna out and notch a late-round submission. As the fight played out, Hansen did well. She got 2 takedowns in 7 tries, had 2 submission attempts, and 5 minutes 2 seconds of control time. However, she was outstruck 156-87 by McKenna, who won the first 2 rounds on all 3 judges' scorecards in a unanimous decision win. -18 in my ledger after the Kay Hansen loss. A 195-pound catchweight bout between Brendan Allen and Sean Strickland was the target of the third of my top 5 picks. The favorite, Brendan Allen, was lined at -130, with the underdog Sean Strickland at +100. I picked the dog Sean Strickland to win this contest, risking 18 units to win 18 more. Brendan Allen is a 24-year-old Orthodox fighter representing Rufus Sport MMA Academy in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. All in, stands 6 foot 2 inches tall with a 75-inch reach and has a 15-3 record overall and a mark of 3-0 in the UFC. With 5 wins by knockout, 8 by submission, and 2 by decision, Allen is a dangerous all-around fighter, but specializes in submission finishes. His 4-0 combined record in the UFC and Dana White Contender Series include 3 finishes. One of them an impressive rear naked choke submission over Kevin Holland in Allen's UFC debut. Sean Strickland is a 29-year-old Californian who fights from the right side. A veteran of 11 UFC fights, Tarzan is making his second appearance in short order after a 2-year hiatus following a serious motorcycle accident. With a victory over Jack Marshman just 2 weeks prior, Strickland is trying to make up for lost time and agreed to this fight at 195 pounds just 5 days before the event. At 6 foot 1 inches tall with a 76-inch reach, Strickland has one of the best jabs in the game, but can lose focus on his striking defense. With a record of 21-3 overall and 8-3 in the UFC, Strickland has only lost to Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, Kamaru Usman, and Santiago Ponzinibbio. I picked Strickland to win this fight, expecting him to use his underrated wrestling game to keep this fight where he wanted it, on the feet. Catching a kick early in the first round, Strickland followed Allen to the ground and controlled him, thwarting all of his submission attempts. Allen may not have liked what he felt on the ground with Strickland, as he did not attempt a single takedown in this fight. Strickland used his smooth jab and ring savvy to outstrike Allen 106-53 before stopping him with strikes in round number 2. With the win by Sean Strickland, I tallied 18 units. Next up at position 4 was a fight matching up Tony Gravely with Geraldo de Freitas in the bantamweight division. The line on the favorite Tony Gravely was -170, with the comeback on the underdog Geraldo de Freitas at +135. I risked 18 units to win 24.30, backing the underdog Geraldo de Freitas to be the winner. Tony Gravely is a 29-year-old right-hander from Virginia who represents American Top Team. He stands 5 foot 5 inches tall with a 69-inch reach and sports a 19-6 mark overall, including a loss in his lone UFC fight. With 8 wins by knockout, 3 by submission, and 8 by decision, Gravely is a solid wrestler who possesses a quick shot and who is adept at all areas of the game. He lost his UFC debut by rear naked choke to Brett Johns after earning a contract with a TKO victory on the Contender Series. Geraldo de Freitas is a 29-year-old Orthodox fighter from Brazil and a veteran of 2 UFC fights. The man called Spartan stands 5 foot 7 inches tall and has a 72-inch reach, sporting a 12-5 overall record with a mark of 1-1 in the UFC. De Freitas won a unanimous decision over Felipe Diaz-Colares in his UFC debut, but then dropped a close split decision in his sophomore effort against Chris Gutierrez. He was coming off a 482-day layoff, and ring rust may well be an issue for him. I selected De Freitas to win this fight, expecting him to be able to be the more effective fighter on the feet and stifle Gravely in the grappling realm. My narrative was proven incorrect, as De Freitas was taken down 7 times and controlled on the ground for close to 10 minutes of this fight. He put up a spirited fight, landing strikes while standing and while on his back, but it was not enough in the eyes of the judges, who gave the split decision to his opponent. I lost 18 units on this fight. The last of my top 5 picks was in the strawweight division, where Kaneko Murata fought Randa Marcos. Favored at -205 was Kaneko Murata, while Randa Marcos checked in at dog odds of +161. Another underdog pick for me on Randa Marcos, hoping to win 28.98 units by risking 18. Kaneko Murata is 27 years old and stands 5 foot 1 inches tall with a reach of 62 inches. She is a powerful southpaw wrestler from Japan with a sterling record of 11-1. 2 wins by knockout and 4 wins by submission. She is making her UFC debut amid quite a bit of hype, including being the wrestling champion at the 2013 Summer Universidad. The 35-year-old Randa Marcos fights out of TriStar Gym in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Quiet Storm is a 15-fight UFC veteran and is taking this fight on 9 days short notice. Standing 5 foot 4 inches tall with a reach of 63 inches, she has an overall record of 10-9-1, including a mark of 6-8-1 in the UFC. She has never been knocked out, but she has been submitted 2 times in her career, with all her other losses by decision. I chose a veteran Marcos to win this contest, being underwhelmed by what I saw of Murata on tape. She did show some wrestling skill and power, but I expected her to be too small and unable to prevent Marcos from taking her down and controlling her in all 3 rounds. I was quite wrong, as Murata was very fast and powerful, and an effective wrestler. She used 4 takedowns, solid control from the top, and a 2-1 margin in total strikes to secure the win, 30-27 on all 3 judges' scorecards. Minus 18 units for me. The night ended for me with a losing mark of 2-3 in predictions and a losing sum of 22.17 units. In addition to my top 5 picks at 18 units apiece we just went over, I picked every other fight on the card as I always do. Please check out my website, captaincastironfightpicks.com, for my fully documented picks going all the way back to November of 2014, or check me out at captaincastiron on Twitter. Please like or subscribe if you appreciate what I am doing. Other ways you can support me include purchasing my picks, giving a donation, or signing up on my Patreon. All support is greatly appreciated.